All you need to know on how to perfectly draft this beautiful scoop neckline with Princess Bustier is on my channel. If you are interested, please subscribe and let's get started. Welcome to my channel, great people. Here is a pattern I've drafted already to save us time. So I have my shoulder measurement divided by 2, the shoulder slope, my armhole, then my bust point, my under bust, the waistline or half length. Then from that point I came down by 6 inches. That's because I want to make this into a blouse. So if you want it to be a gown like with half length, just stop at your waistline. Then my bust span divided by 2. If you don't know how to draft a basic bodice, I will drop a link on how to do that. So now for the under bust that intake, I'll just come in by 1 inch because I didn't want it to be a very full bustier. So I'll do that on the under bust and the waistline. Then at the bust point I came down by 1 inch, and using my curve ruler I connected everything, though I still reconnected because I was not satisfied with the curve I made. Then using my straight ruler I connected this like so into the waistline. So you can choose to rule this straight down or you should make it like slanted, but because I wanted this blouse to be a bit stylish, I followed this type of that. Everyone you do is still the same thing, they will still end up getting same results. I just like playing around my works at times. So this is me trying to reblend the cup area because I felt it wasn't perfect enough. So now we are going to be inputting our Princess Bustier. So we have different ways of getting the Princess Bustier. The first one is coming down by 2 inches from your shoulder slope, like 2 inches interval. You can choose the first 2 inches point or the second 2 inches point, anyone you want. You can just keep doing it like so, or you should divide your armhole into 2, anyone you want. So after that I came up by 1 inch from my bust point, and I just marked the point I wish to make use of for my princess dart. Remember I said you can divide your armhole into 2 to get the midpoint. So I just picked the midpoint and I connected it into the bust point. Then for the princess dart, you have to take the dart. I came down from that princess line by 2 inches, as you can see. Then using my curve ruler, look at the way I place the curve ruler. All these things matters. This is what will help you to get a good result. So I connected it like so. So now this part is not going to be needed. So after that, you have to reblend your princess dart to avoid shortage on the shorter part. So this is what I mostly do and it works well for me. Then I'll just try to reblend. So whatever the extra that was added after I tried reblending, I have to return it back to my armhole area to avoid shortage. So I'll connect it like so. I'm meant to use my curve ruler to connect this red part. I later did it, so please remember to do yours. Now I'll divide my bust by 4 and I'll connect it like so. I'll also divide my waist by 4 and I'll measure the dart that was taken and try to return it so as to avoid shortage. Then I'll connect it back to the bust. I'll also divide my hip by 4 and I'll connect it like so using my curve ruler. So I'm doing all this because I'm trying to make a blouse. If you are making a gown or something that just requires half length, you stop at your waistline. So now the next thing I want to do is to share you this tip of snatching the waist area without it being a corset or without it being tight, but just giving you this figure 8 look or this figure 8 illusion. It is something I tried and I really love it, and I thought I should share it to you guys also. So what is it about? At your waistline, you just come in by ½ inch. Remember, this is not a corset, so if you take too much, it will affect your zipper. It will make your zipper to look like it is running out. So ½ inch is fine. Then from that point you came in by ½ inch, come down by 1 inch from that point, as you can see, and that point you also make sure that you came in by ½ inch. So it's like ½ inch on your waistline, then ½ inch like 1 inch down from your waistline. So this will just work well for clothes that is blouses or for inbuilt corset or clothes that just want to tighten a bit. But if it's just for clothes that will stop at your waistline, just come in by ½ inch, that's all. Then using your curve ruler, emphasis on curve ruler, you look at the way I'm placing it and you just make a curve like so, connecting it to the under bust. You are not tightening the under bust, we are only working on the waist area. Then you arrange your curve and make it to go into this length area, the down part, like so. So this way, to just give you this beautiful illusion of a snatched waist. It's not like it is going to snatch you or it will affect anything, to just give you a beautiful look. I tried it and I love the result. Afterwards, I am going to be adding my sewing allowance on my pattern. This is not compulsory. If you wish, you can add it on your fabric. So I added the allowance of 1.5 inches. Then after that, I came up by 1.5 inch because this is a blouse and I do not want to leave it to be very sharp and straight. I wanted it to have this curvy look on my body. So I blended it into my dart line as shown in the video. Now the next thing I did was, because I wanted it to have a stylish M line at the front, I only did this for the front. So at my dart area, I came up by 1.5 inches, and using my curve ruler, I used it to create this beautiful style line like so. I wouldn't leave this like this, so I tried to close my dart also because I would love to blend it into the center front of my blouse. So I only did this for my front pattern. So I just try to blend it this way, so as to give it this kind of scallop look by the time I finish sewing the clothes. Now for the neckline, I made use of 5 inches for the neck width, and as for my neck depth, I made use of 7.5 inches. This is a standard measurement. You can work with 7.5 or 8 inches. It won't reveal anything because we are working on a scoop neckline. So you are going to make form a square neckline first. So on that point, I came in by 5 inches again, and using that, I used it to form a square neckline like so. So it's from the square neckline we are going to derive our scoop neckline. So for my scoop neckline, I came up by 2.5 inches, and using my curve ruler, I blended it into the other part, the other end of the square neckline like so. So now we are not going to leave our neckline like this. We have to tighten it so it will sit well on the neckline, and there won't be any form of gaping on the neckline. It will just sit perfectly well. So at this point, I tightened it with 0.5 inches the square part, and for the scoop neckline area, I slanted it into my bust point and I took a dart of 0.75 inches. These are standard measurements. This is something I made for myself and I love the result, so I wouldn't give you something that is not okay. So all these are darts that we are going to take off. So we can't leave it like this. We have to close the dart because they are excess that we are trying to take off. We do not want it to show on the clothes. So you are going to close it like so and make use of your sellotape or your masking tape to seal it. Then if there's any shift on the line, you are going to reblend it with your curve ruler like so. If you have any question, please ask me in the comment section. I'm also going to do the same thing to this square neckline area. I'm going to try to close it, and I will use my masking tape to close it like so. And if there's any line that shifted, I'll try to reblend it. Also, you have to tighten your shoulder. So I tighten my front shoulder with 0.25 inches. You'll be wondering why all this is much. It is just because we want the neckline to sit well on your body. So when you do all this well, you get a beautiful result. The next thing for me to do now is to take my bust dart. So there's this new trick I tried and I love it. I might not be the inventor, but I just love the trick, which is me sharing my bust dart in between the bust point. Unlike before that, I will take it from my bust point down. I will share it. So my bust dart for this specific blouse is 1.5 inches. So I shared it on both sides. That's 0.75 on both sides of my bust line, and I connected it into my bust point. This method helps you to avoid pointy effect or pointy bust line, unlike the other way we always do it. That one too is always good, but sometimes it's always hard to remove that pointy and sharp effect. Now we are going to cut out our patterns. Remember to study your lines. If there's any part you need to reblend, try to blend it well, and watch the way I'm cutting it. If you have any question, please do not hesitate to ask in the comment section. Also, I'll close my bust dart because it's not needed, and I'll try to seal it. If there's any part I need to reblend, I will do so. If you have watched this video up to this extent, please try to subscribe to my channel turn on the notification bell so as to get more notifications whenever I drop mind-blowing tutorials. So here is our front pattern. It is looking lovely already. Now I'll set this aside so we can work on the back pattern. So here is my pattern paper for the back pattern. I've marked out my line for the zipper area. I made use of 1.5 inches. Then my shoulder to half length. Remember, if you take your body measurement properly, your front half length is different from that of the back. Then from that point of the half length, I came down by 6 inches from my blouse length. That's if you are making a blouse. Now from this zipper line, which is serving as our starting line, I will input my neck width of 5 inches, and I'll also input the shoulder measurement divided by 2, and I'll add half inch sewing allowance to it. Then from that point, I'll come down by 1 inch for my shoulder slope and connect it into the neck width like so. Now I'll input the armhole length I got from the back, and to get a perfect line, I will re-input my shoulder measurement at that point so that my armhole length can be straight and perfect. To get the curve, you divide your bust by 4 and you will input it like so. And now using your curve ruler, you just connect it into your armhole length. So that's how to get the back armhole. The first thing I have to do before inputting my dart is to contour my back zipper, and on my waistline I came in by 1 inch as shown, and using my ruler I connected it. There is no direction to that as far as your ruler can go. Then I also did the same thing for the lower part. Then now I will just rule out my armhole length to get the chest line, because we need it when we are placing our dart. So what I do whenever I'm inputting my back dart is to add half inch extra to the bust span. So if your bust span is 4 inch, for your back add half inch extra to it like so. And now to get a perfect line, you have to measure everything you got from this former starting line to where your dart is, and you use it to input the other part. This way it will help you to achieve to get a straight armhole length, a straight dart line. So that's what I do, and it works well for me. Now I'm going to connect my dart line. You can see it's straight and perfect. So for my dart intake, I made use of 1 inch. I shared it on both sides, and I connected it to my chest line and also to the blouse length like so. This way it will help you to get a perfect dart line. Then afterwards, for us to get, we are going to calculate our princess dart. So all I do is to divide my armhole by 2, and from that point, because it is the back, I'll come up by either 2 inches or 1.5 inches. That way it will help you to get a perfect dart for the back, and it will make your back look beautiful. Then I'll connect it into my dart line like so. So now from this new line that our zipper was contoured from, I'll divide my bust by 4, and for the waist I'll divide my bust by 4 and return the 1 inch dart intake. Then I'll connect everything together. At times your back pattern might look a bit awkward, but by the time you finish sewing it, it will come out beautifully well. I'll also divide my hip by 4 and I will connect everything together like so. Now I'll place my front pattern on the back pattern using the waistline as a guide, and I'll just try to transfer that contouring, that cinching effect I did on the front pattern. I'll just try to transfer it. Make sure your front half length and back half length aligns. Don't worry, they will align because the bust that has been taken. So when you do it well, you get a perfect result if you use the right measurement. So also I'll try to transfer the curve, that curvy part, I'll transfer it also, and using my curve ruler I'll just connect it like so. As you can see, if you have any question, please ask me in the comment section. Another thing I'll be doing is to take my third dart. This dart gives me a very beautiful and well contoured back, especially at the zipper area. So what I mostly do is just to take half inch on both sides of my waistline at the zipper area. Then I connect it to the side of the other side of the waistline as shown. So this way, by the time I take this off, especially when you are working with lycra fabric or velvet material that they tend to allow the zipper to have galloping, this will help you to control it and reduce it. And this works for any kind of fabric. I actually made this for a Duchess fabric and it gave me a beautiful result. So now I'm going to close the dart because it's just us trying to eliminate excess on the zipper area, and it will help your fabric to sit well on the back, especially for people who have a deeper back. So after you've eliminated it, you have to reblend any lines that have shifted and you seal it like so. It doesn't affect anything. So now for my neck line for the back, I made use of a V neckline, and I came down by 8 inches. You can impute any neckline of your choice. It is not compulsory you make use of what I made use of. Then I'll use my curvy part of the ruler to blend it into the neck width like so. Now after that, I am going to tighten the neckline. Naturally, when you are drafting a deep neckline, it is advised you tighten it because there will be some gaping around the neckline. So I'll just tighten it with 0.5 inches like so. Make sure it doesn't get into your princess dart. You can notice that I did not allow it to get into the princess dart. So I tried to tighten it, and also I closed the dart like so. Wherever shifted from your line, you just try to make use of your ruler to reblend it back like the way I am doing. So when you are working with a deep neckline, it is advisable you tighten it so that you can get a beautiful result on your body. Now after I've done all that, I am just going to impute my zipper allowance of 1.5 inches. This is a cloth I am going to be turning with lining. That's why I made use of 1.5 inches. Also at the side, I added my allowance. I like adding my allowance because sometimes all these little things can be forgotten. So I like adding my allowance immediately, except for parts I can't add on the pattern paper. So after all this, I am going to cut out my patterns like so. As you can see, please do not forget to subscribe to my channel, like, share to your loved ones, and turn on the notification bell. So this is everything you need to know about this pattern. I hope you learned something new. See you in my next tutorial. Until then, keep winning. Bye.